I'm Rebecca Lavoie, and this is the Readathon. And here with me today is a very special guest. Special guest, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Bethany Na. I am an attorney from Southern California and a big Readathon fan.
Yeah, so as an attorney, I have to ask you the one big question. What have been your general impressions of the trial so far?
That it's more exciting than the stuff I usually deal with. But I am very impressed just from the opening statements. Jackson, I love the story he told. It reminded me of our trial practice class where they're like, you need to tell a story. You need to put everything in kind of like tight, start it and then refer back to the beginning. So the fact that he had there was no collision, he said it 3 times, and I think that was just perfect.
So today was a big day, in my opinion. We finally finished with Yuri Buchanan, I think. So we just had this one witness to talk about, and we won't talk about every single thing that happened because that would take all day, but we will cover what I think are the big things, and you can tell me if I'm missing something. But first, I want to mention a pair of motions that the prosecution introduced this morning. One was they essentially want information obtained from the federal investigation excluded in terms of being able to ask people questions because they say that it is hearsay. The defense filed an instant response defending, their defense of their client.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Imagine that.
Hank just loves to try to get things excluded, right?
Well, I think he is, after the testimony of, our friend Yuri, I think he's scrambling.
Yeah.
I mean, his whole case is like, how dare you defend your client?
Right.
It's like if there's anything that will come out that hurts his case, he wants it excluded.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, this shows me that he was panicking all weekend.
I think so, too. And the other thing they want to do is they say that the door has now been opened for the Aruba witnesses, which he said he wasn't planning to bring up in trial in a pretrial hearing, but he said that it was brought up during testimony. So therefore, it's now fair game and he wants to bring in that storyline. Thoughts? Is that just more panicking?
It's more panicking. They're trying to do anything to make Karen look like the crazy ex-girlfriend. I mean, I kind of can see the open the door, aspect, but I think it's grasping at straws at this point.
Yeah. Let's be real. She is kind of the crazy ex-girlfriend.
Well, yeah.
This relationship is not seem like a healthy, communicative, loving one.
I mean, nobody's arguing that it was except lovey-dovey that one night, at the waterfall, but nobody's arguing that it's chill, and I don't think I'd want to be in a relationship with her.
Yeah, I don't think I want to be in a relationship with either one of them. But the bottom line is I still don't think she did it. Anyway.
No, me neither.
So who gave Yuri Buchanan a talking to over the weekend? Because his affect today was completely different. On cross-examination, he was being helpful. He was being jovial at times.
I know.
He was very chill. Even when he was saying things that are apparently bad facts, he'd be very relaxed. So who gave him the talking to?
Maybe he enjoyed his little drama he got to reenact last week. No, I think Brennan or Lolly or somebody must have just said, you are not helping us at all by not even answering, what color is the sky,
Yeah.
So he seems a lot more chastened today. Not easy to deal with, I don't think, still really nitpicky, but less adversarial for sure.
Okay, so I want to get to what I think is some of the biggest stuff from today. First of all, Proctor's texts. Yuri Buchanan was actually on a text chain with a bunch of other cops, and Alan Jackson made the point today that after having him read these texts, calling Karen the R word, saying he's looking for nudes, etc., pointing to his performance review after that conducted by Buchanan and how glowing it was.
Mr. Honorable, yeah.
Yes, he continued to call him honorable, that he did the investigation with what? Honor and integrity were the two words.
Integrity, that's right.
Yes, I hadn't heard the specifics of this performance review before, but they were glowing, and Jackson got really hot talking about it. Can you imagine that Yuri Buchanan, when he got up this morning, thought he'd be making a First Amendment argument to defend Michael Proctor?
I cannot stand when people bring in the First Amendment. It's like with hearsay. It's like one of those things. It's like, I don't think it's what you think you're talking about,
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. I don't even know what to say about that they have the right to use the R word and private texts that aren't private. He was trying to act like it was some private chill text chain.
Yep.
But yeah, it was, I just, all right, you don't know what the word a lot means, but you're trying to make a constitutional argument here. It did not play right for me, at least.
Well, it didn't play right for me because Yuri Buchanan is the cop that spent months and months and months going to people's homes and charging them with felonies because they had opinions. They posted things on social media, their opinions about the case. They, had the rubber duckies, they were leaving around town.
I love that. Yeah.
He went and charged these people with multiple felonies. Of course, those cases were not even taken up by the court. They were just dismissed before they could even get to court.
Surprising.
This is the First Amendment guy. Like, it applies to his friend Proctor, but I guess not to the rest of the world, right?
That sums up the case.
All right. So I want to get to, for me, the biggest revelation of the day was watching that video, that long extended video from the Canton Police Station. It turns out that Brian Higgins got there around 1:28 in the morning on January 29th, and he didn't leave until about 1:45. So he was there for 17 minutes, and for about 10 of those 17 minutes, he's walking around the Canton Police Department parking lot, which was interesting because there was almost no snow on the ground, and it appeared as if he was going and rooting around in other cars and bringing stuff or a thing or a series of things back to his car. And remember, in the first trial, he was adamant that he was there to, quote, move cars. So now he's been caught in a lie.
Yeah.
But what did you think about this video that we saw?
First, I thought it was Kevin Albert when I saw or like some horror movie, because it was terrifying. Well, it was super. Why didn't we bring this up at the first trial? Did they not? Was it
They didn't have
excluded,
it.
or
They didn't have it.
Okay.
This was part of a second video dump. They got a whole second tranche of video in preparation for this trial, and this video was part of that.
Oh, how convenient.
Yeah.
I mean, guess he was moving cars. The case of opening car doors and shutting them, right? Grabbing some Faraday bags, maybe? Who knows?
Well, that's what I was wondering. I mean, it seemed like he was on the phone. So you can imagine a scenario where somebody was telling him where to find something, right? Giving him ideas about where to find it or whatever. I mean, that's something you can imagine. It looked like Buchanan did say that one of the items that looked like he carried back was a snow brush, which would make some sort of sense, except he was driving a truck with a plow. So the idea he wouldn't have a snow brush is kind of weird. Everyone in New England has one. But he was at the station for a long time, and I thought it was kind of amazing. And apparently the jury was very reactive to seeing him there.
Oh, I didn't see that. Oh, good.
Yeah.
Was that lady that talks about everybody's reactions?
Sue O'Connell. She said the jury was more reactive today pretty much than any other day, which is amazing because they've been a very responsive jury.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you think that the snow on the ground situation is something the jury would pick up on?
I don't know. Honestly, I just glaze over.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I'm trying to focus on that, but once that expert came in and talked about the snow and not the snow, and I'm in California, so I don't really know anything about snow. I don't know. That just kind of goes over my head. I don't think it should, but that's one of the things I'm just like, ah.
Well, as a Californian, I understand. But keep in mind, Higgins testified that there's no way he could have seen John O'Keefe's body on the lawn when he left. Oh, that's right,
because it was covered.
Because there was a snowbank between his car and the body. Now, there wasn't, because there was not, even at 1:30 in the morning and, later, as we see on the tape, all closer to 2 in the morning, there's only like an inch of snow on the ground. It's snowing hard.
Yeah.
But there was no snowbank.
Trail or something, that guy said? Yeah.
You track a cat. Yeah. No, there was not a lot of snow.
I know. That's just kind of I kind of cliff notes the snow part.
Yeah.
In my head. Yeah.
Yeah. Hard to relate to for you. Let's talk about the other big topic that he got Buchanan to talk about today, which was those Sallyport videos.
Oh my gosh.
He showed some videos. He showed some still photos. What do you see when you see those videos?
I see a guy that doesn't understand or acts like he doesn't understand the concept of inverting and mirror imaging. I love that he was trying to say oh, it's the same thing. It's, it's the truth of the video doesn't have anything to do with what side the person is coming from. Who cares if it's sideways? But that's the crux of the issue. If he or, they were near the taillight. So it really matters on what side it was. And that missing footage and this whole thing, if they would just own up to things and act like, yeah, we made some mistakes, but overall, this isn't the investigation, the big lie would be easier to swallow. That is nitpicking over ridiculous things.
Well, I think they've become committed to those ridiculous things is the issue.
Yeah.
I think about Jen McCabe in this way. Let's say, and I think there's a good chance this is the case, she made those 7 phone calls to John O'Keefe's phone because she didn't know what happened to him at that point. He just didn't know. He never came in and they left. So she was trying to reach him. But then she got stuck with that story because she deleted the calls. Of course, the new expert saying she didn't, but she did because there were also calls in her log from before those calls. So she deleted those calls and she had told a story about how it must have been butt dials. And now she's trapped in that story. And wouldn't it have been so much simpler just to say, yeah, I called him a bunch of times because I saw the car outside and then he never came in. I didn't know what happened. Wouldn't that just be easier?
Yeah, I mean, it shows that they try to come up with a timeline in the beginning and they're getting caught in the web of their lies. If you tell the truth, you have nothing to remember. You just say what happened. But it's just, even these lies that don't make sense that they're committed to, I feel like the whole thing is just unraveling in front of us. And hopefully the jury sees that too.
I hope so too. I mean, I try to see this from the viewpoint of the jury. It's hard. Apparently they write a lot of notes and it's just hard to know what they're going to weigh over other things. If Buchanan, who's a cop, says, common sense tells me that those grass stains on the butt of his pants are because he fell back on the ground. And then he's asked the question, could they also come from being dragged, or could they be different stains like oil or grease or whatever? When a cop says common sense tells me X, I mean, I find myself wondering, does that have weight? What do you think?
I think that's reversible error talk.
Yeah.
Because Judge Bev didn't allow the expert? Who are they going to bring in
Michael
about proper,
Easter, yeah,
about proper police procedure?
Yeah.
If she is found guilty, I don't know. I feel like they should already be filing the paperwork for an appeal on this basis alone, because you're allowed to use his Buchanan's feelings and experience, but you're not allowed to bring in, standard protocols because people watch TV shows about it or something.
Yeah. It is pretty wild that I think this idea that the jury would know what a proper investigation looks like. That was Bev's reason for denying that motion to let Michael Easter be a witness, or actually upholding the prosecution motion to exclude him is what she actually did. She allowed that. And I think that to say that a jury just knows is improper. But also I hear Jackson and Yannetti, but especially Jackson, trying to fold what's proper investigation into his questions.
Yeah,
right?
I noticed that. That's smart. Yeah.
Like he asked him about making the grid. He asked him about all that stuff. What do you think about that?
I think that's very smart. It's one way to get it in, hopefully, with less objections. But if nothing else, it shows a standard and that he deviated from the standard and that he doesn't even really know what the standard is, or what the, not triangulation, what was it? The grid search and stuff. He didn't even understand what that was.
Yeah. We've all seen that on TV, right?
It just elicits, a big sigh from our friend, the judge. She just seems perpetually annoyed at the situation.
And tired. Yeah.
Go ahead, stretch your legs, Jaws.
What do you make of the time jumps in the Sally Port video? So I think the most noticeable one, the one that people just come out of nowhere sometimes, like from around the car, right? They just
they do.
But then also he showed him this video that was, he had them read the timestamps. It's like before Karen's car was brought into the Sally Port, and then all of a sudden it's there, and it's like minutes and minutes, like 20 minutes later. And they say those cameras are motion activated. I think that Jackson did, it was a very smart thing planning that idea in the jury's mind, because they said, probably the reason that we don't have this time between Higgins coming in this door and going out of this door is because the camera's probably motion activated. So he was able to say that.
Right.
And then wouldn't you think that a motion activated camera would capture something when a vehicle was being driven into the garage?
I know, that's exactly. And now they're getting caught in their own web again.
Yeah.
Everything it happens unless it doesn't happen for them. And then it's like the exception. Everything is the exception. They're trying to say that nothing applies in their situation. I think that the gap is damning. I feel like they could have made a bigger deal of it.
I don't think they wanted to get into issues with metadata and all that stuff.
That's true. Here we go again. Yeah, we don't need that again.
Yeah, and they were trying to stay away from the objectable stuff around that. And so, at the beginning he says, I want you to stipulate that it's authentic. And he's like, I don't plan to talk about its authenticity. And he didn't, but he did point out inconsistencies. So the jury, I don't know how much courtroom experience you have. I mean, that's not the kind of, you're not a litigator right now, right?
Well, I am a litigator, but usually things settle out of court.
Yeah. So do you think that the jury weighs things that are either comments from lawyers, objections that are raised? I mean, when she says strike something, like they have heard it already, right?
Yeah, and you can't unring that bell, as they say.
Yeah. So that's the thing that happens. And I kept thinking about this today. Jackson did extremely well Friday and today, responding to objections, but then doing it in a way that was almost even better than what he was trying to do before the objection. And I thought the time jumps in videos thing was a good example of that.
Yeah, that's true. Like, I think it's where there's no speaking objections.
Yes.
Like they could just say, objection, and then try to figure out maybe a reason why later. It feels kind of like a trial advocacy class again, where she's like, ask it a different way. Or
yes.
Lay your foundation, try again. It's like, why are you coaching?
She thinks she's their teacher.
Yeah.
Is it proper for her to turn to witnesses and ask follow-up questions like she's been doing? Is that considered just like a not cool thing?
I've never seen it. I mean, I don't know what the rules of civil procedure are in Massachusetts, but I've never seen that. And it seems like she's paying per hour for the courtroom. I feel like she's like renting it because she's so obsessed with timeline.
Yeah.
You know, like
she's tired, Bethany. She's tired.
Well, me too.
So we got a redirect of Buchanan, and I found myself wondering, with all the jury saw of this guy, like you said, you can't unring a bell, and he was impossible when he was first on the stand with Jackson, right? He was obfuscating. He was saying he didn't know the meanings of simple words, which is so silly because today he's used the word lividity. He said incontrovertible. Like he uses all these big words all of a sudden.
I know.
So you can't unring his attitude and his sense of like being an obfuscator. But my question was, I've found that Brennan, if he's effective at one thing, he has been pretty good at the rehabbing and during redirect.
Oh, yeah. I think so, too.
Do you think that Buchanan, after 2.5 days of being crossed by Jackson and everything the jury saw, do you think he can be rehabilitated in the jury's mind?
Not really.
No?
No. I mean, they had the weekend to think about him. He started off so poorly that anything after that just... I don't know. Like, I can't see him any different way after this situation. And no matter how much Brennan tries to, like, kind of sum up things in more of a favorable way, hopefully they all just write him off as a jerk because that's how especially after those texts today.
Yeah.
I gave a thumbs up, but I didn't really approve of her, you know. I don't know what nudes mean.
Liar. He's a liar. He knows what, by the way, liquid courage is.
Oh, I know. I mean, I feel like they all do.
Have you ever heard those expressions that Jackson used? Because I had never heard them. Beer muscles and beer guts. I'd never heard those expressions.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But no, I guess he's a California dude like me.
It's California expressions. Yeah. Here we say liquid courage, and a beer gut means something completely different here.
Oh, okay. Well, I won't even know about that.
It means you're porky around the middle because you drink too much beer or other liquor. Like, I think I'm very comfortable saying, not body shaming in any way, but just observing that all of the men in this story, except for John O'Keefe, have beer guts.
Yeah. The whole thing is like a wash in alcohol. It's a good public service ad for don't drink and drive, you know? Not that she hit him, but just the situation is just all this drinking and everything. It's just insane.
Do you remember if we knew before that Lucky's interview was audio taped, Lucky Loughran's police interview? Did you hear that come out today?
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Me neither. Yeah. And I'm wondering if that was something that defense knew. I mean, maybe it did come out before and I just don't remember, but I watched all of Lucky Loughran's testimony last time.
Lucky.
And Buchanan said, you know, when I was transcribing the audio of that interview, and I was like, there's audio of that interview?
I know. I was wondering about that.
May we please hear it? Because, I mean, I wonder if the defense has it because it would be exculpatory, right? So if they don't have it, then that's bad.
And not surprising.
Yeah, and not surprising. But he seemed to be Brennan on his redirect seemed to be trying to somehow impeach the Lucky stuff in some way. But Yuri, he actually didn't take the bait for that. I mean, he brought all these little pieces of evidence and, you know, frickin' throwing Proctor under the bus saying he picked up this plastic, But he didn't really seem comfortable with the idea of shitting on Lucky.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting, too. I mean, maybe that's a smidge of honor in there, or he just didn't understand where he was going with it.
One other thing I want to talk about before we wrap up is Berkowitz. Are you familiar with the Chief Berkowitz role in this whole thing?
No, I mean, I think I might be, but does it have to do with Sandra Birchmore or is that different?
No, that's different.
Oh, okay.
So Berkowitz was the chief of police of Canton. He has since died. He retired in 2022, amazingly, as one does.
It's just that lucky year.
Oh, yeah. And now, of course, their new chief is also like letting her term run out and not asking to be nobody wants this job, I guess. So Berkowitz was the chief of police at the time. He's very, very good friends with Higgins. He's very good friends with all these cops, right? But I think he and Higgins were particularly tight, if I remember correctly. Berkowitz, at one point, I think, is seen standing behind Karen's car in that still photo from the back camera. He's like, do you know who that is? He's like,
is that what he's saying? Like that you have a small stature or something?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So I think we saw a glimpse of Berkowitz twice today. One is the night of when there are guys milling around and you see somebody melds from nowhere and is leaving the garage. That might be Berkowitz, but it's hard to tell. And then the still photo of that really fuzzy camera, the man standing behind there, bald, but he said, actually, Yuri said, I think I see glasses like that. And Jackson was like, oh, like Berkowitz? And I was like, oh, here comes Berkowitz. No, so Berkowitz is important because days after the incident, he happened to be driving by 34 Fairview for no reason. It's not on his way to work.
No, of course not. No.
Old man, glasses wearer, somehow saw taillight pieces in the yard, collected them.
They just keep popping up all over the place.
Yes. So Berkowitz is somebody who finds things, which is interesting. I don't know. I think Berkowitz is a more important character than not. But my question for you legally is, he's dead. So is there a different standard where you can talk about him in court and not worry about it like there is with writing articles?
I wish I knew the answer to that. I feel like I should, but I don't know.
Probably not, right?
I mean, I was thinking of kind of like defamation.
Yeah.
You know, like there's like looser standard. If they're dead, it's like you can say what you want.
You can't defame the dead. Yeah.
I don't know. Has he been like deposed? I'm assuming not.
It was so funny today when he asked Buchanan on Recross if he had interviewed Guarino, and he's like, "Why would I interview Guarino?" It's actually kind of a good question.
Yeah.
He's like, "Well, did you discuss with him the importance of his phone data dump, which shows that John O'Keefe moved, blah, 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 blah?" And he's like, no. Did you think that was important? It's amazing. It's totally amazing. There were moments, though, and I feel weird for saying this, where you can kind of see, I could kind of see the person that Buchanan could have been. Like, he was charming at times. At least I found him to be. Am I crazy?
No, but in moments, when he was reading the text messages, I kind of got what you were saying, where it's like, oh, I could kind of see that there's a personality there, maybe.
Yeah. That's
not a total corrupt jerk, but it's just so hard to see all these guys covering for them. It's hard for me to see them more than anything than not monsters, but
yeah. One of the interesting things that came out today is that obviously they're trying to hammer home that Proctor did lots of bad things. Like, for instance, he lied for years about the time that he picked up Karen Reed's SUV from her parents. It was at 4:12. That video is timestamped. But for a long time, Proctor was saying it was an hour later. In order to make it seem like the SUV couldn't possibly have been at Canton Police before the CERT team found their first pieces of taillight. Do you think that Alan Jackson is doing a better job connecting the dots this time around?
Yes, I really do. I don't know if it's because we have that juror lawyer on the team now.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe she was telling him kind of like, this is the stuff that we got lost in, hammer in these points more. But I'm following it better than last time.
100%. Last time was the prosecution case last time was so boring.
Well,
and then Jackson would get up and poke holes in the witnesses, but he never, I don't think, did a good job connecting the dots, saying like, isn't it true that Ms. Reed's car arrived at Canton like 15, 20 minutes before the first piece of taillight was found? And isn't it true that it's only 1.5 miles from the Canton Police Station to 34 Fairview? And isn't it true that you can make that drive in 2 or 3 minutes?
Depending on traffic and
Yeah. I don't think that Yuri Buchanan would have been as forthcoming answering those questions on, say, Thursday and Friday.
Yeah.
But he was pretty chill about it today. Like, part of me is wondering, like, if to some extent he's like, have I been wrong?
I know. Like, I don't know if he's like a useful idiot or like an idiot or just evil, but I'm leaning towards like a useful idiot that might be kind of like, oh man, like what?
What do you think about the comfort with which the prosecution and their witnesses seem to be throwing Michael Proctor under the old bus?
You mean like when they remember who he is? And do you think the defense is going to call him?
I don't know. What do you think? Would you if you were the defense? Is it better to have a boogeyman that everyone is shitting on that you never meet?
I know that's the question. Yeah. Because you can kind of make things up. But what if he comes and he redeems himself and is charming or something and it somehow has an answer for everything? I think it's kind of nice to have him be like this weird specter, in the background. You can just like throw everything at, even if it's not entirely justified, which I'm sure it is. But it is easier to have like just this disembodied guy in the background.
Yeah, I think so too. I think there's a chance he won't be called. Karen Reed on the courthouse steps the other day said that it's unclear, or they haven't decided yet if they're going to call him. I think they have to call Higgins.
I hope so.
Because Higgins told Whoppers in the last trial. And Higgins' disposal of his phone.
Oh, I can't wait till the jury hears that. Yeah.
It's one of the most damning pieces of evidence, especially now that they've heard in the texts that he frequently would go to that military base to buy booze.
Of course. But I mean, when you get rid of a new phone, don't you do that? You like break it in half and go to the nearest base and, I mean, that's what I do to all my phones.
Well, if you do what we do, we actually use our old phones as second cameras here in our studio.
That's smart. I give it to my kid.
Yeah, yeah. So, because it still works as a device, even if you're not using it as your phone. Well, what do you think we're going to get in the rest of this week? I hear rumors that the prosecution is close to ending its case, except that it's hard for me to imagine. We still haven't gotten their reconstruction person. We still haven't gotten their card data person. The neurologist who's going to say that.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. They don't want their own medical examiner, right? Because they try to.
Yeah, we haven't heard from the medical examiner. Yeah.
So all you have in this, for all they've presented, was crazy girlfriend hit him.
Mm-hmm.
And like, that's it. Like, I don't understand. They feel like they're more of the defense in this case.
Yeah.
Like, I keep referring to them as the defense when I tell my husband, like, you will never believe what happens.
Yeah.
Because they're on the defensive this time.
Yeah.
I feel like last time the defense was more like, duh, she didn't get hit by a car. This time it's like their roles have switched in a way.
Yeah. No, I think so too. And I think I'm going to be thinking about what you said about Brennan panicking. I just don't know what I would be thinking if I were him. Does he think he's doing a great job? Does he have that kind of hubris? I know that he doesn't come off as like the brightest bulb on the tree. He mispronounces words. He accidentally said the name of a witness in the Whitey Bulger case instead of saying Guarino today. When he said misstated Guarino's name, it's actually Mel texted me and said that was somebody from the Whitey Bulger case that he was referring to. He doesn't really seem to be on top of it. What do you think about Brennan?
I don't understand why they brought him in. I mean, Mr. Special Prosecutor, like at least get a grasp of the facts and how to say things.
Yeah.
The way he lectures kind of reminds me of like an annoying dad.
Yeah.
That comes in, and I think of like a Leslie who is like the good dad that's like, here's what happened, buddy. Let's talk about it. And then I see Brennan as just like, like the whiny guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I see them all as like fathers for some reason in a weird way, like their style of talking.
Yeah. Different kinds of dads.
Yeah. Different and kind of being lectured to. And I find Brennan just whiny and like, doesn't matter what the facts are. This is what I am going to assert and keep going.
Brennan's the stepdad who always had things the way he had them in his house, and now he's been invaded by all these kids and he doesn't know what to do.
Yes.
Jackson is the fun weekend dad.
Yeah, he's the fun guy.
Never see during the week, and then his wife is super pissed at him because when he is around, he's like, let's go balls to the wall and go to the amusement park and shit.
But where are you at doctor appointments?
Exactly. Alessi is the earnest, very involved dad who 100% knows what his kids are up to, knows the names of their friends, doesn't forget their birthdays. And I think Yannetti is a busy but solid dad.
I think so too. Just in the background, putting food on the table, doing what he needs to do.
Doing what he needs to do. I think he strikes me as like he'd be a good partner. Like,
yeah, I think so too.
Stand-up guy. I really like Yannetti a lot. I've really come to appreciate the Yannetti in this. Which is why when I saw them making fun of his picture on that text thread, I got personally affronted by that.
I know that. Yeah, I think the whole Twitterverse or Xverse.
I'm like, he's such a
about that.
cutie.
How dare you?
Exactly. How dare you indeed. Well, do you think at this point in the trial, with what we've seen, Karen Read has a good chance, an excellent chance, a great chance, or a terrible chance at getting acquitted?
What do those words mean? Just kidding. Great.
Do you need a dictionary?
I do. That would actually be helpful. No, a great to excellent is where I'm at this point.
Are you worried, as I do in the background, that there might be just a juror or two who's just never in a million years going to budge because either they already thought she was guilty or because a lot of people just believe if someone's arrested and tried that they're guilty?
Or like jury nullification, like they got some sleeper cell agent on there that, yeah. I mean, you never know. If it goes in a mistrial, can you imagine what they would do?
If there's another mistrial, do you think they would try this again?
I don't know. I feel like they might. Nothing they do makes sense. So, and they're keeping up this facade this long. I can't imagine that they would just drop it. But who knows? Maybe we'll have a Readathon season 3.
Oh, my goodness. I'm so tired, though. That would be a lot.
You and Judge Bev.
Well, Bethany, Bethany, it's 5:41.
I was going to say, yeah, it's time we go.
I think we need to wrap it up, Bethany. Wrap up this readathon. I don't want to waste the jury's time with many more readathon. Thank you so much for joining me today, Bethany.
Thank you.
I so appreciate it. Come back on the show sometime.
I would love it. Go stretch your legs and get a drink of water first. All right. See you later.
Partners in Crime Media.